James Mitose was born December 30th, 1916, in Kailua Kona, Hawaii. When he was young, his mother took him and his sisters to get an education in Japan. After returning to Hawaii, Mitose began teaching in Honolulu in 1936. He originally called his art Kenpo Jiu-Jitsu and claimed to be related to Choki Matobu, founder of Matobu Ryu. But this was denied by Choki's son, Chosei Matobu. He would later refer to his art as Shorinji Kenpo, not to be confused with the art created by Doshinso. Eventually, Mitose claimed that while in Japan, he trained in the art of Kosho-Shorei Ryu Kenpo at the Shaki-en Buddhist temple in Kumamoto. He said that this was his family's art and that he was the 21st Grandmaster of the system that goes back over 1,000 years. No one actually has been able to trace the family name, the temple, or the art. To be clear, and I think most historians would agree, no art can be traced back that far. Some Koryu go back as far as the 14th century, but that is about as close as it gets. Okay, so let's move on. In 1941, he opened his official self-defense club. Mitose had several important students who would go on to be a big influence in American martial arts. William Chow, founder of Kataha Kenpo, went on to teach Ed Parker, founder of American Kenpo, and Adriano Emperado, who helped create Kaji Kenpo in 1947, as well as Ralph Castro, one of the founders of Shaolin Kenpo. Mitose also taught Thomas Young, who was the inheritor of the official self-defense club after Mitose left. Thomas Young later affiliated with Danzanu founder Henry Okazaki's American Jiu-Jitsu Institute. It became the Kenpo branch of the AJI. I recently did a video on Henry Okazaki and Danzanu. If you have time, I'd love for you to watch. Okay, moving on. He also trained Bobby Lowe, who coincidentally trained under Okazaki as well before meeting Mitose. He received his second dan in Kosho-Shorei Ryu before meeting Masuyama at a demonstration in 1952. He went on to train directly under Oyama and has authored and co-authored books on Kyokushin. As an interesting side note, Mitose was given an honorary 10th dan in Aikido by Koichi Tohei. It seems, according to this letter, that Koichi later regretted this, as much of what Mitose said to convince Tohei to issue the certificate turned out to not be true. In 1953, he moved to California. He stopped teaching publicly, though he continued to teach in private. Before things take a drastic turn in Mitose's life, I have one more thing I'd like to talk about. During my research for this video, I was sent an article showing James Mitose's logo in Robert Trias' dojo, as well as on his uniform. There's no evidence that the two ever met, and I wasn't able to find a conclusive answer for this. The person who sent me this article is a prominent author and believes that Trias may have taken the logo from Mitose's What is Self-Defense book. The book was published in 1953, and the article was published in 1959, so this is definitely plausible. Okay, so this is where things take a turn. In the 1970s, Mitose was indicted for murder, attempted murder, and extortion in a case involving one of his students, Terry Lee. I have the entire report. Feel free to screenshot it, as it would take way too long to read. But here's the gist of it. James Mitose denied telling Lee to commit the murder, but he did say that as his instructor he would take responsibility. Lee claimed that Mitose had suggested on numerous occasions that he kill Mr. and Mrs. Frank Namimatsu. He said that Mitose and his wife gave him a knife, a rope, a screwdriver, and an air pistol to do the job. Frank Namimatsu was strangled to death by Lee on March 20th, 1974. He suffered a collapsed eye and had been stabbed multiple times with a screwdriver and had a shoe imprint on his chest matching the shoes that Lee was wearing. His wife was also left in critical condition, but survived the attack. Though the prosecutor was looking for the death penalty, Mitose was sentenced to life in prison. He served the majority of his sentence at Folsom State Prison, but was transferred to San Quentin when his health began to decline. He died of complications from diabetes, March 6, 1981. Terry Lee was only given 3 years in exchange for his testimony. The reason for all this? Well, you'll have to read the report. It's a long story. In short, Mitose had supposedly been extorting the Namimatsus by posing as a healer, and when they realized what was going on, they threatened to call the police. I know some of you are thinking this must be a horrible human being, but many of his students talked about how great of a person he was, and to be honest, you could say that without James Mitose, a lot of American martial arts may not exist. Though he made some bad decisions, he was admired by many. Today, several branches still exist, some closely tied to Mitose's teachings, others blending it with modern Kenpo. Kosho-Shorei Ryu Kenpo is preserved by his son, Thomas Mitose, as well as some direct students, probably the most well-known being Bruce Juchnik, who received transmission from Mitose while in prison. These are references and recommended readings for anyone who wants to learn more about James Mitose and Kosho-Shorei Ryu Kenpo.